reflect those of the advertisers, owners, or management of Pacific Telestations, LLC. For comments, opinions, and questions, please email Jess Lujan at jessthebuzz@gmail.com. The Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Good evening, Guam. I'm Jess Lujan. Welcome to episode 2 of our continuation and a conversation with Tim Rohr, of course, the administrator for Jungle Watch. Of course, 5 million already, right?
5 million over 5.1.
Yeah,
5.1 million.
There we go. But welcome back. Thank you again for accepting my offer or my invitation to come and speak about what's going on. Tim, our conversation from last week, we talked about, of course, a situation with RMS. Recently, there was a gala, the Archdiocese, and again, prior to an interim Archbishop coming out to Guam, supposedly to take care of all the administrative duties of the Archdiocese of Agana. There was a gala recently. Now, did the new Archbishop, the interim Archbishop, then take control of that gala? And so explain how that works, because if someone takes over control, I guess, maybe something is postponed, delayed, whatever, but I'm not quite understanding what an interim means when somebody else is still there and still really kind of in control. So I'm still there, I'm still this, but not really, so you're really just not in the face. I'm confused.
Welcome to the club. Everybody else is too. In fact, right before the show, somebody had emailed me a copy of the program from that gala, which had a full page with Archbishop Apparon on it, and who he is, Archbishop of Agana, and a whole another page with his message. And his message was, the media is telling lies about him, they're persecuting him, he's suffering.
Oh, so now the media is down.
It's your fault, yes.
Okay.
So on last after the new administrator arrived, they had a service over at St. Anthony's, and the decree was read. The decree said that the Archbishop Apparon retains the title only. He has no administrative authority in this diocese. Yet we saw immediately after a copy of the Umatuna, the Archdiocesan newspaper, released with his picture there and his message there and his name as the publisher and all of that. And then at the gala, his picture and his prayer. He continues to basically run the diocese. We have not, of course, and then we had that video of him from Rome saying, "I'm still the Archbishop. I'm still in control. The Pope has just sent out this guy to help out for a little while, but I'm still in control." And we've had the new administrator, Archbishop Pond, refute none of that. Okay, he hasn't refuted any of that. So the people are confused. So he's acting like he's in charge, but he has surrounded himself with the same people as Apparon has. He also attended the gala. I'm sure he was the main event at the gala. And he said nothing against whether Apparon's video message was correct or not correct. It hasn't been refuted. But this gala thing, they have it every year. It's a fundraiser, and for the Archbishop, the new administrator, to attend that is a real stick in the eye. And I heard that there were protesters there on top of that. The reason why it's a stick in the eye is because this seminary, Redemptoris Mater Seminary, RMS for short, is the very genesis of the whole problem.
Sure.
Because this is the breeding ground for these so-called presbyters that are being multiplied like ants, to spread out all over and take over things and so on. And they're coming through. It doesn't appear that they're being vetted. The ones that do come out of there appear to be extremely hostile to the people, are doing everything from removing statues from churches to condemning local pietistic practices, and don't even know how to say a mass. I mean, there's something really wrong.
Sure.
plus, you know, the whole history of this, you know, for 15 years, first of all, that property was acquired by the Archdiocese back in around 2003, originally it was a loan, a bank loan. They were able to get it for almost nothing because it was a very bad situation for the previous owner. They just wanted to dump it.
Sure,
The Archdiocese picked it up, and they got a loan for about $2 million. The Carmelite nuns locally wanted to help out the church. They found a donor through their order in the States who paid off the bank note, okay? So we had it free and clear. But the idea was that this was going to be a seminary for Guam. And we were told that for 15 years. And people donated at these galas and all these other things, fundraisers, Catholic Charities Appeal, millions of dollars over 15 years for what was a seminary for Guam. But, you know, people began noticing, you know, well, where are these priests? Because either they are, you know, ordained and then they're sent off someplace and we never hear from them again, or they're put in parishes, which it's obvious that they were not trained to be diocesan priests. So what's going on with this? That's when I got involved around 2013, began looking things up. And I found that this seminary was not a seminary for Guam. It was a seminary on Guam.
Now let me ask you with that, because I want to talk about the product, what they produce. Okay. Now this is before even I really heard about the Neo Catechumenal Way and all that, and what is, you know, the product that's being produced, you know, from the RMS up there. And I you know, I would see, you know, some of these, I guess, seminarians, you would call them. And I at that time I was thinking, well, wait a minute, okay, they were there at first not wearing any collars. A month later they start wearing collars. Maybe 6 months later there's the announcement that they're going to be, I guess, ordained as a deacon or something like that. Then a year later they'll be ordained as a priest or something. I may be exaggerating a little bit, but the time frame is really, I mean, really short. Okay. And I remember as an altar server, and you know, someone recently, just actually a couple of days ago, someone asked me as well. They said, you know, in the Philippines, man, it takes about 10 years to be a priest. And I said, you know, from what I remember as well, you know, when I was an altar boy as well, and people who went away to be priests will come back and be a long time. It's almost like being a doctor. It would take a long time. They have to go through all this process and the trials you have to go through, even to be a nun. I mean, just because you can do the schooling doesn't mean that you can live the life. I mean, I think you have to go through other things other than just the theological study, the book type thing, right? But what we're seeing is like, man, it's like an assembly line, you know, and there's no quality control. Where's the quality control there?
Exactly. It's not a real seminary. It can be proven. I've already proved it by showing that there is no, the only accreditation, the only thing that makes them any kind of a credentialed institute is this so-called affiliation they have with the Vatican University called the Lateran. They did initially acquire that when they first opened. It was supposed to be renewed in 2012, 2013. As far as I can tell, it wasn't, because if it was renewed, it would have been published. And I've demanded that they make that available to see that we're actually supporting, because they're asking for our money, a real and an accredited institution, and they haven't. The real issue is this, Jess, is that, and you're right about the time frame, it's about 10 to 12 years, and usually it requires a priest to achieve some sort of a regular college degree. Okay, well, these people aren't doing any of that stuff. They're being rushed through 4 to 5 years, you know, whatever it is. But that's not even the real problem. The real problem is that there's not an actual seminary. There's not actually a real institute with a stable professorship, with an actual published curriculum. There's nothing there. Okay, they have these roaming catechists that come in, like the Generinis, that come in and do a little 2-week course while they lay out by the pool, and that's it. Okay, unless they can prove otherwise. But the real issue is this, and it's found in the corporate documents which I uncovered, and that essentially that it was constituted as a Guam corporation, a nonprofit corporation, for one specific reason. And it states right there in its articles that it is for the formation of priests in the Neo-Catechumenal way, in and for the Neo-Catechumenal way. Okay, now that's not for the Archdiocese of Guam. This is only for the Neo-Catechumenal Way.
Certain
So
sect,
for
yeah.
15 years, Archbishop Apron lied to us that this was a seminary for Guam, because it's not. And he proved that he was lying to us, because as soon as I exposed that, he sets up this other seminary called the John Paul the Great Seminary. They use the old Malolo Monastery quote to do that. And that's supposed to be the seminary for the diocesan priests. Okay, so it was an admission. It was horrible. I mean, it was like, you step into this, you know. I accused him of of lying to us about this, and he actually admitted that I was right and he was a liar by establishing a second seminary. Okay, look, you want a seminary for Guam? Okay, we'll give you one. It's over here, right? But it's not even a seminary. It's a boarding house.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you set it up, I mean, did you set it up right now? But if you set it up even to be more substandard than the first one, then what have you done? You haven't created anything.
So there's number one, it was an admission that RMS and the millions of dollars that we've given into it, we're not going to a seminary for Guam.
Yeah.
And number two, the thing that they did set up was another lie. It was a scam. There's no seminary there. A couple of guys are able to live there, and I understand the conditions are just horrible.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Anyway,
there's no seminary.
I got to pay some bills.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Be right back.